This video is for everybody who is afraid to fly, who is super scared to fly. I used to be very scared to fly and I overcame my fear. My fears of flying started in 2008 when I was flying in a storm named Emma. It was in Europe and I flew in a 737 Boeing, and then I flew in a very small plane to my city that was really something when I thought that our plane will be turned upside down and everybody in a plane was cursing and screaming, and not even flight attendants said anything, and it was really very extreme stress experience. And after that I wasn't able to board a plane without being dizzy for 3 weeks before the flying. When I saw airplane, I started to sweat on my face and on my in my palms, and my body was having such a reaction about flying that I basically couldn't move. I was so like petrified, you know. Petrified. Petros is a stone, is a rock, and I was petrified. My body just became a rock, so my hands didn't work. I was sweating with this fierce sweat full of adrenaline, and I couldn't walk. My hands didn't have a blood flow after I flew, even though I didn't have to choose flying, but I just really wanted to overcome it. So if you want to overcome flying, fear of flying, then you can, and it is possible, because I did that, and you can too. Just the fact that you're watching this video is saying about you to you that you are ready to do that and you want to do that. You are not only presenting to everybody else that you don't like to fly and you are fearful to fly and so on, because I met a lot of people in airplanes and everywhere, and they are drugging themselves, they take a lot of pills and alcohol, and they are just knock themselves unconscious and they don't want to deal with it. And I didn't want to do this way, and I don't judge it, but I just felt I don't want to do it because already the 3 weeks before the flight were very intense. I was having vertigo, you know, I couldn't really walk straight a week before flight and so on, and my body was very much processing it, and I couldn't sleep and so on. And one time drugging me for the flight is not making much, so I needed to just deal with the whole complex problem, not only with the fact that I fly from A to B and it's 8 hours or 9 hours, okay, but it used to be 9 hours of pure fear and pure stress reaction. I am even sweating now when I'm talking about it, how it was violent, crazy, and how it was so bad to me, to my body. And I know that, and I was so afraid to fly that I didn't know what to do. I was studying all those possible resources, I was watching all those videos, I always contacted staff, the flight attendants, and asked them, hey, what about this, what about that, and what if we don't have a, you know, I don't know, motor or whatever, what if the wing falls off and stuff like that, you know. My mind was making up anything possible to keep me in fear. So what was really helping me is that, first of all, I started to kind of like tune into the staff, to the flight attendants, to feel, hey, these people are flying every single day, they have it as a job, it's a routine. And I started to tune in this routine energy, okay, and I was just trying to tune into that. It didn't really help me, but it was the first thing. And you know, I was also started to fly more frequently because I needed to do it for my job. So it was usually 2.5 hours flight. I used to fly to Sweden, Stockholm a lot, and one day I was on the board, again experiencing my fear, and I interviewed so many people who have fear of flying, and I know that they like to talk about it and they like attention. But I said to myself, I'm not going to do that anymore. I was alone on the board. I couldn't make to be on the board alone before. But that flight I was alone, and I decided that I'll go for it, because I have to do it. I have to make it. And then sometimes it helped me when I could walk a little bit. So I was walking towards the bathroom, and then I saw a baby laying on the mother's lap in a total surrender, in a total peace, sleeping. The baby had like 3 months, or 4 months. It was absolutely surrendered, and I saw the baby, and I understood that this is how I'm supposed to be, how I'm supposed to approach this, how I'm supposed to, process it, tune into it. And since that, I started to practice this feelings and emotions which I saw in that baby calmly sleeping on the mother's lap. It's not a safest spot in the planet for a baby to be anywhere else than on a mother's lap. The mother is the safest, and smells familiar and feels familiar. The energy fields are connected, and then I tuned into that energy, and then I still kind of like had these reactions with my body that I was afraid, but it wasn't that much. And 5 to 6 years later, now I flew again to Barcelona from Poland, and I have to say that I had a little tiny silly question about the flying, or I said to Raphael, hey, do you promise me we are going to be okay? Are we going to be okay? And when we start to accelerate before takeoff, I said, hey, now I can't really change my mind, right? And so it's just the mind talking silly things. But other than that, there wasn't a very palpable stress reaction as much as I used to have it. So I very much recommend to very much practice this surrender, and imagine that there's millions of kids flying with their mothers, and their mothers would never put them anywhere what could hurt them. And it's just so helpful it was so helpful to see that picture, the image of the kid on a mother. So it helped me so much. So you never know. Stay open. You never know what will help you. But if you are willing to get rid of fear of flying, you are going to get rid of that fear, right? You want to say something?
I think I don't have anything to add to it. Petra said that she would want me to be on the video, so I'm just holding space, but you explained it very beautifully, and I think it's a really helpful image to have of that child.
So I can say that I was talking to a lady last year when we were flying to Mexico, and she was saying, sorry honey that I'm not having you there, okay. She was saying to me, she was all drugged when we landed. She was super drugged, and her partner was like around her, and making sure she's well, and making sure that she's like taken care of and stuff like that. But I absolutely never judge people how they are processing their life, or how they are being in their life, because we never know what is behind our traumas, never. But I would say if I had the chance, I would try to do this on my own, not with a partner who has to take care of me during the flight. I would maybe, if I want that attention and I want to nourish the attention from my partner, I would ask him beside the flight, because maybe during the flight there is a need for that, but we can create something outside of it which is not connected to the flight, to the flying, so the partner can fulfill and nourish that need, and then we don't have the need to act, you know, to pretend and to put ourselves into states where we are supposed to be, so to get something. Yeah. So I'm not saying that I did it overnight. I'm not saying that I did it, you know, like that, and I don't have anything anymore. I'm saying that I overcame that into the point that I can sit in a plane and I am not petrified. I am not scanning stuff, and I am not, you know, it's not anymore running me. It's not anymore destroying my life and running my life. I can sleep before the flying and anything, you know.
Even though you are not constantly flying and approaching that fear, it can just happen that slowly you will just have another flight planned, and you realize, oh, actually I wasn't really afraid this time. Actually I was a lot calmer, and that's how they can disappear, just with time as well.
And it was in the past when I was overcoming slowly. It wasn't pleasant. The flights were not pleasant. I could always say I don't like flying, you know, but I am very impressed by how far we are as people with technology, how a metal thing can take off, how it is amazing. I was also studying a little bit about the aerodynamics and how can it take off, and how amazingly constructed the airplanes are. And you know, and it's just amazing to not have these reactions. It's just so freeing, and I'm very grateful for this, you know. And we have a pigeon visiting us here. We have there. We don't have anybody visiting us, and now we have a pigeon. So yeah, and he's not afraid of flying at all. No, not at all. They are so much enjoying when they are just spreading their wings and flying. He might show us, right?
Yeah, you can see it well.
You can see him well? Yeah, so...
Should I open?
Yeah, you can. And he will show us how to fly. If he's... no. Yeah, so I hope that this video at least inspired you that it is possible. You don't have to do it the way I did it, because no video, nobody could help me but that child which I saw.
That was exactly for you.
That was for me.
Specifically for you.
Yeah. And it is so beautiful that you can get your own anything what you need to nourish. And I had to stop controlling and everything I still am not super happy to fly, like like, how to say it, I'm not
thrilled.
It's not my favorite thing to do, but it's okay. I'm okay. I'm good. So if you want to be good, you know, maybe someday I would be super happy to fly, you know, but
I don't think it's a really super amazing experience. I wouldn't want to work in a plane, but it's all right. It's just to get from A to B.
Yeah, but I used to think before my traumatic experience that I will work as a flight attendant, you know, but I want to say that it's always mimicking something in us. If you are fearful of flying, there is something beyond that fear which needs to be addressed. It's not the fear of flying, it's just a little tiny speck of, you just call it fear of flying, but it can cover some other traumas or some past experiences which were not addressed and which were just swiped under the carpet, which need to be resolved. So you can share with you if you overcame your fear of flying and it's not anymore yours.
Share with us.
Yeah.
Or so, share with you too.
Because I don't have anymore my fear of flying, because it's not anymore mine. I didn't want to have it. So Yeah, it took a lot of years. It took at least 10 years. 8 to 10 years it took, really. So don't be hard on yourself, but baby steps are the best.